It's funny how the smallest, most common words in our language are the ones we almost never think about. But what if one of those tiny, everyday words is actually shaping the very structure of our thoughts, our stories, and even how we connect with each other? Well, today we're diving deep into the hidden power of one of those words.
So get this, the word and is the third most frequent word in the entire English language. The only words we use more are the and of. Just let that sink in for a second. Out of all the amazing, specific, and complicated words we have, this little three-letter word is right up there at the top. Its sheer popularity tells you it must be doing some serious heavy lifting in our language.
And that's the big question for us today, right? We all get that and joins things together. But how does it do it? What's really going on when it makes that connection? As you're about to see, the answer is way more interesting than you might think.
It's really easy to think of and as just a plus sign, this plus that. But it's so much more creative than that. It doesn't just add two things together, it actually transforms them.
Okay, let's take a super classic example, bread and butter. The and here isn't just making a list of two items, it's actually fusing them into one single idea. It's not just bread plus some butter, it's bread and butter, a completely unified concept, a staple.
Or let's get a little more personal with it. You and me. Again, this is not just a list of two separate people. That little word and creates the connection. It builds a partnership, a relationship, a new unit that's way more than the sum of its parts. It's the word that literally builds the idea of us.
And you know what? The data totally backs this up. When you look at the words that cluster around and the most, you find words about human connection, family and friends, her and their, both of them. That's no accident. It tells us that one of the main jobs of and is to build these pairs and to spell out our relationships.
So here's our first big insight. And doesn't just link things, it creates a partnership. It takes two totally separate things and molds them into a brand new, single entity that has its own identity. Whether it's objects or people, and is the word that makes a whole out of different parts.
But and does more than just create these static partnerships. It also creates movement. It creates momentum. It's basically the engine that drives the flow of action in our language. Just think about this simple little story. She stood up and left. That and is the entire engine of the narrative. Without it, you just have two separate frozen pictures. But with it, you get a continuous flow of action. It's the word that lets one moment spill into the next, and that's how you weave the fabric of a story. And here's a really cool piece of evidence for this from the linguistic data. One of the words that pops up next to and all the time is then. As in, this happened, and then that happened. It's like the invisible thread that just keeps pulling the story forward. So you can kind of think about it this way. A world without and would just be a big collection of isolated facts, right? A bunch of disconnected photos. But a world with and is a world of stories, of cause and effect, of things moving forward. It's what allows our language to build on itself and just keep going.
Okay, so this brings us to what might be the most powerful job and has. It doesn't just shape our stories, it actually shapes the very structure of our thoughts. It's a tool for expanding our minds.
The word and is what allows our minds to hold more than one idea at the same time. It's what lets us talk about something being black and white, or bitter and sweet. It allows us to hold two different, even opposite ideas together in a single thought. It literally expands the capacity of our thinking.
And you can see this function in the company and keeps. It pairs up all the time with words like other and between, and that shows you its role in stretching our thoughts. It links one thing to another. It helps to find the space between 2 points. It's always pushing our thinking beyond just one single isolated idea.
So this gives us a whole new way to think about what a conjunction is. It's not just some grammatical glue that holds sentences together. A word like and is, at its core, a tool for cognitive expansion. It's the thing that lets our thoughts connect, build up, and grow more and more complex. So, when you put all of this together, you start to see that this tiny, overlooked word is actually one of the master architects of meaning. It doesn't just connect things that are already there. It's actively building new ways of seeing the world. This quote from the analysis really just says it all. And is the hidden force that allows our language and our thoughts to gather complexity, to reach into new territory, to create partnerships, and to move forward through time. It's the architect of partnership, the engine of our stories, and the very framework for how our minds expand. So, the biggest takeaway here is that the simplest things in our world, often hold the deepest secrets. And is so much more than a word. It's a fundamental tool for how we build our reality, which kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. If a word this small can do all that, what other invisible architects are quietly shaping the world we think we see?